Hi, and welcome back to Ham 101. I'm Herb NZ0F, and in this episode we're going to talk about how to get on the air. One of the easiest ways for new hams to get on the air is to check into what's called a net. And that term net is one thing that really kind of confused me when I first became a ham. I wasn't sure what they were talking about when they talked about nets. But all a net is a regularly scheduled opportunity for a group of people to get together and talk, to get on the radio. And so it's ideal for new hams because you know when it's going to happen, and you know it's going to happen every scheduled period. So you can be there and you don't have to go fishing looking for somebody just randomly on a repeater somewhere. So all nets share a certain number of characteristics that are common to all nets. So the first one is that they are all what we call directed nets, which means there is a net controller who controls the net. That's why they call them a net controller. But they control who talks and when they talk, and they give instructions and things like that. Within that, there are two different types of nets. There are what's called formal nets, which are generally held by organizations such as an ARES organization or a RACES organization or some other emergency communications organization, where the primary purpose of that net is for the organization to pass information to their members. So their members check in, the organization passes information to their members, and that's basically it. Nobody really gets to talk other than to check in. The informal nets, which is the other kind of net, is just the opposite of that. It gives everybody a chance to check in and then actually solicits comments. It actually wants you to talk something about your day or something like that. And so there are both kinds of nets. Be aware of that. In the Kansas City metro area, there is a list of all those nets on larryslist.info. If you don't have something like that, or if you're listening to this from some other location, go out and look on social media, look around, ask around, find out when some of the nets are that you can check in. A net is broken up into 2 or 3 different pieces. It always starts on time. Net controllers are very punctual, and if the net says it's supposed to start at 8 o'clock, believe me, it'll start exactly at 8 o'clock. And they will read what's called a preamble. And all the preamble is basically the instructions for the net. It will explain the purpose of the net. It will give you instructions for how to check into it. It will talk about whether or not you'll be able to do comments or not. It will give you the instructions you need to understand how to check into the net. The second thing will happen then is that they will then ask for check-ins. On formal nets, they will probably segregate members and non-members, and so they will ask for members first and non-members later, or vice versa. Just listen to the net controller and check in when it's appropriate for you, whether you're a member or not. And then on an informal net, they'll come back around after they acknowledge your check-in and may ask you for comments, so be prepared for that. So a couple of other things to be prepared for when you check into a net. One is the check-in is simply your name and your call sign, NZ0F Herb. Remember, hams don't have last names. So if anybody asks for your name, they're just really interested in your first name. They're not interested in anything else. So a check-in is just giving your name and call sign, maybe some location info, what city you're in, that sort of thing, depending on the net. But again, listen to the preamble. They will explain all of that to you, so you don't need to worry about it. And then listen to the rest of the net and see what happens. So but again, it's a good opportunity, especially for to look for informal nets as an opportunity to get on the air and to talk on the radio. And again, the more you do of that, the more comfortable you become talking on the radio, and then you can expand beyond just the nets into other things and to expand your experience and expand your contacts with an amateur radio. So it's always good. I always feel like it's a really good idea for new hams to listen to the net that they want to check into the first 1 or 2 times before they try to check into it. So we're going to jumpstart you here today. We're going to play back a recording of what's called the Wheat Shocker net. This was a Wednesday night net that is held by the Johnson County Radio Amateur Club here in Kansas City. It happens to be held on in a digital mode using ASU Fusion, but the rules and the process is exactly the same regardless. This one happened, I think, a little bit before Thanksgiving, so we're going to let you listen to some of that so you can get a feel for the net, and I hope that helps you.
Okay, good evening. This is W0ERH and the Wheat Shocker net. Before we begin the net, I'll take a standby for any emergency or priority traffic. Please call W0ERH now. The Wheat Shocker net is the official net of the Johnson County Radio Amateurs Club of Johnson County, Kansas. We operate the net under the club call W0ERH. The net meets Wednesday and Thursday nights, 8 p.m. local time. Wednesdays we meet on this frequency, 442.6, in Fusion Digital Voice mode. We're also in the Wired Kansas City room. Thursdays we meet on 145.39 megahertz, same time, different back channel, using analog FM. Meetings of the Johnson County Radio Amateurs Club are held the second and fourth Friday of every month at 7 p.m. In November and December, we have only one meeting on the second Friday. Club meetings are held at the Overland Park Christian Church, located at 75th Street and Concert, Overland Park, Kansas. Visitors are always welcome to join us at our meetings. Information about the club can be obtained from our website at w0erh.org or by post to Johnson County Radio Amateurs Club, P.O. Box 93, Shawnee Mission, Kansas, 66201. This is an informal net. You don't have to be a member to check in. Everyone will be given the opportunity to make comments, and comments are encouraged. Unit control this evening is Tom, N0GSG. We'll be taking check-ins first from stations in the Kansas City area using the Shawnee 442.6 repeater. Stations using other repeaters are requested to stand by until we pick up the local check-in. Please remember to give your name, indicate if you have traffic, information of third parties when you check in, and of course, state your calls because that will let everybody have a chance to get in. Please call W0ERH now.
KE0CGR, Vince in Overland Park, no traffic. AD0AV, Jamie, Lenexa, no traffic.
NZ0F, November Zulu 0 Foxtrot, Herb in Overland Park, no traffic.
W0YGH, Rick, Lee Summit, no traffic. KA0YJE, Larry in South Kansas City, and I do have a question from the group. November 0, Alpha Delta Bravo in Kansas City, no traffic. KA0FRD, Fred and Raymore, no traffic.
Wow, now that is a bunch of check-ins. Let's see if we've got you. If you don't hear your call, then I didn't hear you, and just give it another try, and we'll make sure to get you on the list. We have Vince, KE0CGR, the voice of Hambone, AD0AV, Herb NZ0F, Rick, W0YGH, Larry, KE0YJE, who had a question, and M0ADB, Mike, and Fred, K0FRD. And Larry, you had a question. That's the closest thing we've had to anybody saying there's traffic. So let's put you at the very front, Larry, with your question, KE0YJE from W0ERH.
Oh, thank you, Tom, for that. This is KA0YJE. Yeah, I've got an FTM 100 and I'm wondering if that could be the problem, why it's not recognizing it.
Well, I'm going to put a stab at this, but the answer is possibly yes, Larry. And what could be going on is, hopefully that's going to help. Let's go up to the top of the list, and that seems to lack a theme. You know, all goodness got to have a theme, but I don't know what it would be. But it is the night before Thanksgiving. We're going to have Afterglow, and tomorrow we're going to have turkey, and then probably another net with another Afterglow. In fact, I'm going to be using one of my PW1s to help cook the turkey, I think. So let's turn it over to Vince, KE0CGR. And Vince, tell us what are your plans for Thanksgiving and anything else that's going on. KE0CGR from W0ERH.
W0ERH, this is KE0CGR. Good evening, Tom, and everyone on the net, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone as we get into the holiday season. And we have some things going on here for Thanksgiving. We had So that's about it. You all have a great evening and a wonderful day tomorrow. It's supposed to be great weather. This is KE0CTR, back to net.
Okay, Vince, that sounds like you've had a nice time, and so we're not going to be getting a turkey report from you tomorrow. So, very good. Anyway, Herb NZ0F from W0H, you are next.
Well, good evening, Tom. Good evening to the net, and happy Thanksgiving to all. He sent out a link on Larry's list earlier, but I suspect if you just emailed Bill, he will send you a new link for that, and we'll look forward to seeing some of you up there. So back to you, Tom, NZ0F.
Yep, thank you, Herb, and that is a good event. I think I was at that one last.
So that was an excerpt from the Wheat Shocker net from a few weeks ago, and I hope that that gives you a better sense of nets. And again, I would encourage you to find a list of nets in your area, and when you've got some time, listen to one or two of them and get a feel for how to check in and what kind of comments and things like that people might have, and go ahead and check in and push that button and get on the air. Because as we've always said, it's always important for you to get on the air and start getting some enjoyment out of this great hobby. So enjoy that, and I hope to hear you on a net sometime soon. And until next time, this is Herb NZ0F 73.